What's up, guys? So this video is going to be about benchmarking my Dell G5 5500, and I had done this on the Asus ROG Zephyrus M15. I use the exact same tools, which is I'm going to go with the UserBenchMark, Nova, PassMark, and 3DMARK, and just going to have them run their basic tests. Like, I didn't pay for any of these tools, whatever it was that was free to download and install and use. So first, the only system I have to compare this to is that Asus, and so I guess a lot of my comments might be in comparison there. The way that the Dell G5 5500 is set up is spec-wise, it's the same as the Asus Zephyrus M15. They both have the same video card, the same CPU, the same RAM, and actually the RAM's running at the same megahertz, according to these test tools. And they both have both had a 1 terabyte SSD. So what's interesting to me, though, is that the Dell ran slightly slower in almost all tests. Now, when I say slightly, I mean literally slightly. It's like very comparable, but it is definitely less than the Asus. As an example, like this screen here. And again, I want to also make note that I ran these about 5 months apart from each other. When I did the Asus Zephyrus run, that was July 30th, and this is December 30th. So, you know, the test tools have been updated. Like the UserBenchMark is a new release. I don't know what they changed in there. I'm sure the 3DMARK is the same. Some of the interfaces look different when I ran it on this than I remember seeing it on the Zephyrus back in July. So I wonder if they changed some of the tests. But that aside, the tests are very, very similar in performance. UserBenchMark, I got, as you can see on the screen, 76, 97, 68, and %. I'm not really sure what the workstation percentage means, to be honest with you, but the Zephyrus scored a 76% for gaming and 102% for desktop, and then 85% for workstation, whereas this Dell only got 68%. So I'm not really sure what that means, but the numbers here are pretty comparable. I want to say the graphics card on the Zephyrus ran an 80% versus a 78%. The SSD on this is faster than the Zephyrus. I think if I remember right, it was a 202%, and this one ran, or 212 or something like that, and this one ran 247, which is quite a bit faster. I don't know what brand this hard drive is. It's probably, I mean, it's a Dell laptop, so I'm sure they've got some OEM product in there. PC SN730. I'm sure you could Google that and find out. Oh, right here, WDC. So it must be a Western Digital. I would imagine that's what that is. So the hard drive performed really well. That's quite impressive. The video card seems to like run a little bit less than it should have. It says it's performing below potential. But, you know, when I did the test on the Zephyrus, it was the same thing. It said most of the stuff's performing either right at expected or below potential. So, like this example down here says enable XMP BIOS, but I don't know how to do that. I went into the Dell BIOS and I didn't find any options for XMP BIOS profiles. So, yeah, so this is the UserBenchMark test. I guess you could probably look these results up just by doing the number here at the top. The next one I wanted to look at was the NovaBench. So NovaBench is a simple little app like this. It doesn't actually take very long to run. And what's surprising, though, about the NovaBench is it actually scored higher than the Zephyrus by just about 50 points. So it's like 2940 or something like that, or 30 was the Zephyrus, and this one ran at 2981. Again, same exact specs here. So it's really just a matter of, I guess, the motherboard, RAM, and a combination of, you know, what's running the fastest. And the manufacturer's differences between the RAMs, because one of them was like on the Zephyrus, I want to say it was Corsair. I could be wrong there. No, it was Micron, I think, was the RAM. And on the Dell, who knows, right? I don't know. I don't think it said. If we go back here, I don't believe it actually said unknown. Probably Google this and find out what it is, but that's what it says is unknown. So the NovaBench performance was basically the same, in my opinion. Like, I don't know if you can argue 40 points between one tool. It doesn't seem to, it's basically the same performance specs. So PassMark was the other one. That's this one, performance test tool. And it actually ran a little bit slower in everything except for the memory mark. The memory mark is actually faster on this Dell than it was when I ran it on the Zephyrus, but the rest of them are all just about 50 points lower than the Zephyrus was. Zephyrus got an overall PassMark score of like 4,050 or something like that, and this guy got 3986, so we're roughly 70 points off or something like that. I just did a quick little comparison here for baselines, like if you go to the video card here, your video card versus loaded baselines. So a desktop 2060 versus the mobile 2070. You can see the 2060 is a faster card, but when you compare to things like a 1060, it's quite a bit quicker. There was another one, the 580. So this was, I don't know how many people actually have this RX 580, but prior to their recent releases, I think, of their new video cards, I want to say this was one of their fastest cards they had. And you can see that the 2070 Max Q is quicker. I really don't like the comparison here. I mean, the only one that's decent to compare to would be a 2060. Like, I don't know if anybody has an RX 560. Obviously, the Intel graphics, that's your onboard stuff. Who cares what that comes up at? That's going to be your 2DMARK, in my opinion, like this. The 2DMARKs, I don't care really what they perform as long as it performs something. I mean, this is like what you use to just browse the web or something like that. To me, that's almost irrelevant. What I'm looking for mostly was how fast is the 3D card. So these gaming laptops, in case you don't know, they actually have two video cards. One's used for the two-dimensional type graphics, like browsing the web and this kind of view here, and then your 3DMARK, it switches to your better video card. So that's the PassMark test. So I did actually have it written down. So the Zephyrus scored a 4,082, so 100 points difference from this one. The last one that I used was the 3DMARK tool, and this interface is definitely different than when I ran it from Zephyrus 5 months ago. The overall score that I got on the Zephyrus was 6345, and this one's getting a score of 6,031. Now, again, 5 months difference, different app. Makes me wonder if this score is fixed in the sense that it never changes. Like if I run this on this laptop again in a year, will I still get a 6,031, or does that adjust based off of the average system runs? I don't know the answer to that. So if it doesn't adjust, then that means the Zephyrus was roughly 300 points quicker. You know, whatever that means. I mean, you say 300 points, I say 300 points, but I don't really know what that translates to. I'm just showing you the results. This is actually a pretty extensive graphics test. I don't know if you've ran it on your own, but the Time Spy is a really detailed 3D simulation that they run through. And on average, some of the scenes I was getting like, 27 frames per second while running that test. So it's got really awesome lighting and really complex shapes and models and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to run it. This is a free tool. I believe it's free. I think it is. You can get it in Steam. That's where I got mine. So look at it. Look at this. Here's my graphics test averages 33 and 39 FPS. The monitoring's new to me. I don't recall this in the previous version, but it actually shows you your temperatures of your, what is this? This is the graphics card temp, I would assume. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know which device that is. Oh, there you go. Sorry. So hover over it. The green line is the CPU and the blue line is the GPU. So you can see that my CPU hit some pretty hot temps, right? 100 degrees Celsius. What's 100 degrees Celsius into Fahrenheit? Pretty hot. I would say that's over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, 212 degrees. So that's very hot. It's boil some water on that CPU. So that's the 3DMARK test. That concludes the 3 that I ran, or the 4 tools that I ran on the Zephyrus. This is the output for what you see on the comparable Dell G5 5500 that I have. Hope this was helpful for anybody that's looking at buying one of those Dell G5 5500s. I have a couple other videos out there about gameplay, so if you're considering the G5 or the Zephyrus, you don't know which, watch both of them. I would also look up some comments about that Zephyrus. I don't think I was running it full capabilities. A lot of comments I get said that I wasn't running it in the ultra performance mode, whatever that is. So it makes me wonder just how much faster the Zephyrus could have been. I couldn't get past the keyboard personally, so that's why I chose the Dell. All right, thanks for watching, guys.